Look, we need to have a real conversation about what's actually hiding in your makeup bag. Wonder why? Well, here are 7 toxic cosmetic products still sold in the US that California banned. Before we get to it, the phrase FDA approved is one of the biggest marketing lies in the country. Right now, California is essentially running a massive experiment in consumer safety. They just dropped the hammer on a long list of toxins through the California Toy and Cosmetic Safety Acts and the PFAS-Free Cosmetic Act. But while those bans are rolling out in the West, these ingredients are still sitting on shelves in the rest of the US. You probably used at least one of them this morning, completely unaware that the US hasn't overhauled its federal cosmetic laws in any meaningful way since 1938. Let that sink in. We are regulating 2026 chemistry with laws written before the invention of the microwave. The core of the problem is that the 1938 Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act didn't give the FDA the power to approve cosmetic ingredients before they hit the market. Instead, companies are basically on the honor system to ensure their products are safe. This post-market regulation style means we often only find out something is dangerous after millions of people have been using it for decades. So California finally stepped into this regulatory void because the federal government moves too slowly. They are targeting body burden. The idea that while one product might not kill you, the cumulative effects of using hundreds of chemicals daily is leading to massive spikes in chronic illness, cancer, and infertility. California doesn't publish a single list of banned brands. Instead, they ban specific chemicals, and the brands that use them must either change their formulas or stop selling in the state. Because California is such a huge market, most companies are currently stripping these ingredients out of their products nationwide to stay in business. The names on this list are the companies that have been the primary targets of the massive lawsuits and independent lab screenings that led to these new laws. These brands have been targeted in major lawsuits or independent studies for using PFAS, the forever chemicals often found in waterproof or all-day wear products. First, go grab your favorite waterproof mascara or that 24-hour long-wear foundation. If that stuff stays on through a breakup and a workout, it likely contains PFAS. These are per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, but scientists call them forever chemicals because they possess a carbon-fluorine bond, one of the strongest in nature. Unfortunately, once these molecules enter your bloodstream, they don't break down. They stay there forever. So California banned them because the data linked them to kidney and testicular cancer, thyroid disease, and severe hormone disruption. They even suppress your immune system, making vaccines less effective. In the rest of the US, unless a brand says PFAS-free, you are effectively painting your lashes with chemicals designed for non-stick frying pans. One of our favorite brands, L'Oreal, has faced massive class action lawsuits over these exact chemicals in its waterproof lines. But even if it's banned in California, you can still find them available across the rest of the US. Second, you have hair straighteners that release formaldehyde. This sounds like something from a morgue, but it's a staple in professional Brazilian treatments and drugstore blowout kits. Still, these products use methylene glycol or quaternium-15. Those ingredients aren't formaldehyde themselves, but the second you hit them with a 450-degree flat iron, they turn into a toxic gas. You're standing in a cloud of a known carcinogen, breathing it into your lungs while it sits inches from your scalp. These are being banned because they cause immediate respiratory distress and are linked to blood cancers like leukemia. Brands like Brazilian Blowout are the primary targets here. While California is kicking these out of salons, they're still perfectly legal in 49 other states. Third, we have to address the asbestos risk hiding in talc-based palettes. But talc isn't the villain here. It's a mineral used for that silky blendable feel. To be precise, the problem is geological. Talc is often mined from the same rock formations as asbestos. If a company isn't using rigorous, expensive testing, those asbestos fibers end up in your setting powder. We've seen this in massive lawsuits against Johnson & Johnson. Even teen-focused stores like Claire's and Justice have had major recalls for asbestos in their eyeshadow palettes. Inhaling these microscopic fibers causes permanent lung damage and mesothelioma. California is pushing for stricter screening, but for the rest of the country, it's a buyer beware situation. Fourth, even your bright red lipstick might have a dark secret. Mercury still shows up as a contaminant in red dyes and skin brightening creams. It's a potent neurotoxin that damages the nervous system and kidneys. The FDA has acceptable limits for mercury, but California pushed for a total zero tolerance policy because there's no safe amount of a neurotoxin to be rubbing on your lips daily. Side effects include tremors, memory loss, and irritability. The brand we love, Mary Kay and Clinique, aka MAC, have recently settled lawsuits regarding legacy heavy metal contamination. In other states, you're trusting a loophole that allows heavy metals to accumulate in your system over a lifetime. Fifth, if your signature scent lasts all day, thank phthalates. These are chemical plasticizers used to make fragrance stick to your skin. They are notorious endocrine disruptors that mimic hormones and mess with reproductive health. They're linked to decreased fertility and developmental issues in children if used during pregnancy. Because of the fragrance loophole, companies can list fragrance as a single ingredient to hide a cocktail of 300 different chemicals, including phthalates. Major players like Victoria's Secret have traditionally relied on these to give their scents staying power. California is finally forcing transparency, but for everyone else, your signature scent remains a mystery cocktail of reproductive toxins. Sixth, there are foundations packed with parabens. Isobutylparaben and isopropylparaben are still lurking in cream-based foundations to stop mold growth. They're cheap, effective preservatives, but they also mimic estrogen. Research has found paraben traces inside breast cancer tumors, sparking concerns about estrogen dominance and early puberty in girls. While many brands are going paraben-free, legacy formulas from brands like Coty foundations still use them because they're so cheap. California is officially done with them. But if you look at a standard bottle today, there's a high chance you'll see those parabens at the bottom of the list. Seventh, look out for coal tar dyes in dark hair color. If you dye your hair black to dark brown, you are likely using p-phenylenediamine, or PPD. It's derived from coal tar, the same stuff used to seal driveways. It's a powerful sensitizer, meaning it's incredibly likely to trigger a violent allergic reaction. Some people have their faces swell until their eyes are shut. It's also been linked to a higher risk of bladder cancer. Major brands currently facing lawsuits over PPD and cancer links include Wella. California is tightening the leash on this industrial byproduct, but it remains the industry standard in almost every hair salon in America. The bottom line is that the beauty industry is a multi-billion-dollar machine moving faster than the government. California is doing the heavy lifting because the federal government hasn't updated its safety laws in nearly 90 years. We are essentially using ourselves as a test group. If you want to protect yourself, use apps like EWG Healthy Living to scan your barcodes. It might be time for a makeup bag intervention. We have to choose between a long wear finish and our long-term health. So what's the one product you're terrified to scan? Let's talk about it in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.